The FNP 45, the first ever weapon in Criminality to come with custom equipped attachments. Before it was released, it was an RCU exclusive weapon, but when it did release, it was released in 1.2. The FNP in real life is a 45 ACP caliber pistol developed by FM as a high-tier tactical pistol for police departments and civilian usage. What's interesting about the comparison between the real gun and the Criminality version is that the FNP is commonly in a desert tan, and in real life holds 14 or 10 rounds in its magazine. It's a very faithful recreation of the gun in Criminality, but let's get on to how the weapon has changed in Criminality. It's the only weapon to have been changed twice in terms of model. In 1.3, it was changed to the FNP we use now, and in V2 was changed with its sight to be a red dot sight instead of a triangle sight. Its sound effect was also changed in V2, but I'll let you hear how both versions sounded now. Balancing wise, when the FNP came out in 1.2, it was pretty shit. I even made a video about it being the worst gun in Criminality, which honestly, looking back, it probably was. In 1.2, back then, it costed $1,750. That sounds crazy, I know, and was basically just a slightly more powerful Glock, and its suppressor really didn't help the gun, since it didn't even make tracers harder to spot, and it also didn't even quiet the weapon very much. Most changes to the FNP have been undocumented, but over the years, it's had its damage slightly increased and its price nerfed heavily, all the way down to $800. However, it still has its issues, so what's wrong with the FNP? Well, despite the wiki saying it has low recoil, the FNP actually has nearly the most recoil in the game. Seriously, shoot all the pistols in this game, not even the Deagle is that bad anymore. The FNP used to have a pretty controllable recoil pattern. It was mainly just vertical, like the Glock and the SKS, but sometime after 1.3, and especially in V2, that changed. Its recoil is very random and has a lot of uncontrollable camera shake. This makes the weapon very hard to use at a medium range, making it almost exclusively close quarters. I really think they should make the FNP just have vertical recoil, and please, for the love of God, make the recoil in this game physically based instead of whatever this is. I mean for the game to not correct recoil for the player, make it continually recoil upwards so the player has to control it, because it would increase the skill ceiling immensely, and it's less frustrating. Another issue with the FNP is its damage. The damage numbers seem fine, they're higher than I remember there being, but its fall off is quite punishing. I think the FNP should be able to 2-shot headshot, 1 body shot at around 50 studs. This would make it much better at actually killing people, since its damage just feels very inconsistent, and I think it should 4-shot to the body at close range instead of 5-shotting. I think this would do wonders for the gun and actually make it compete with the M1911, because right now I really feel like the M1911 is basically better in most departments. And finally, one more issue, the sight. I don't know, but ever since 1.3, the sight feels very off, and in V2 it really feels off. I don't know why it feels like hitting something with this gun is so hard, but yeah, the red dot just needs to be shrinked a little bit, or maybe even go back to the triangle sight, because this sight is just bad. It's too big to hit precise shots with, and along with its very high recoil, I really just can't hit anything with this gun. But as for other stats, I think this gun is actually fine. It's not really an offensively bad item, but it doesn't have anything it's really good at, and it's not better than the M1911 for damage, and it's not as convenient as the Glock. It's in this awkward middle ground between the two guns, but it's not awful like the Mare or the BFG, but still is lacking, and I think these ideas could potentially put this weapon in a way better place. If they really don't want to adjust the stats, then just make it slightly cheaper, because right now, I'm sorry, the M1911 is better, and cheaper, and it does higher damage. And it has much less recoil. But with that being said, I think those are all my thoughts regarding my favorite pistol thematically. If you check my community tab, there's a poll for me to cover either the SKS or the Mare, so please make sure to vote for what you want. Thank you for watching, and subscribe for more videos like this.